Hi there, it's Kim Beer here with Make It Happen Monday, one thing you can do this week to better market your business. And today we're going to be talking about Facebook's new SmartFeed adjustment. So if you haven't heard, Facebook is making a change to their algorithm, and that change is going to dramatically affect business pages. So first of all, let's dive into what the news is in a nutshell. So Facebook will begin giving prominence in the SmartFeed to posts that engage people with each other rather than posts that simply engage the viewer with that post's content. Now, this is true for both pages and personal pages as well. So don't think you're going to get around this by just having your business stuff on your personal page. So why is this change happening? Well, Facebook, and this is my opinion, by the way, Facebook sees that people who stay on Facebook longer, that's always their ultimate goal, is to keep you on Facebook longer, tend to be the ones that engage with each other on the platform. Let's run back for a moment and remember that Facebook is a social platform. It's built on the concept of people talking back and forth and discussing with each other. So it has a lot of inroads into that concept of communicating back and forth with each other. And I will tell you, I think they're very spot on. If I look at my news feed, it is filled up with a lot of public posts and a lot of content that just sort of flows by that I don't really necessarily want to engage with as a user. So I do think they're spot on with this. And I bet if you're honest with yourself and you go and look at your Facebook news feed, you'll find a lot of that same thing. Facebook's ultimate goal is to keep you on Facebook longer as a user. That builds a better, tighter community, more engagement, more everything for you as a business owner. So those are the people who give you as a business owner, give Facebook money. So from a standpoint of how Facebook's positioned itself, that is a critical component, is keeping users on Facebook. And the longer they can keep you on Facebook as a user, the better. And they really have set up a lot of Facebook around this concept. There's Messenger. You don't have to get off to get on Snapchat or even send a text message. You have it right there in Messenger. They've created these new entertainment channels. They've created stories. The entertainment channels are amazing. They're designed to foster serialized shows. So Facebook, in essence, is taking on Netflix and Hulu and YouTube in a very big way, taking on YouTube with serialized content. So the goal here is to keep you as a user on Facebook. Well, what draws you to Facebook as a user? If you're really honest with yourself, it's not to get the latest news about brands. It's to engage with your friends and family, or the people you knew back in high school, or the people that you work with, but not in a work conversation. So Facebook is spot on with this, and they're going to be giving prominence in the newsfeed to posts that engage people to have conversations with each other. Comments now are the golden goose, and that has shifted because it used to be shares. Shares were the thing that we all wanted to see as business owners, and now it's going to be comments. It's going to be long comments, discussions, relevant conversations about a certain topic that Facebook is going to give prominence to. So that's going to really shift the way a lot of us use Facebook as a marketing platform and as a brand platform. It has to make a move in our thinking. Shares still do count, but not as much, and likes are much less valuable. And it has come from Mark Zuckerberg himself in saying that organic page reach will, and I think they used the word likely, but will drop again. And some people in the industry, there's a great podcast I listen to called Social Media Marketing Podcast with a gentleman who has coined the phrase Facebook Zero. So I encourage you, if you're really curious about this, to go look them up. So it's Social Media Examiner, if you want to look online, and the Social Media Marketing Podcast. It has great, really in-depth information about what the shift is, and how it's going to affect business pages. For most of you as business owners, it's probably more information than you need at this point, because the reality is that This shift has already, in my opinion, been taking place over the past year, and you've probably felt it in your reach within Facebook. I know most of you have felt it within your reach within Facebook because I see it in my clients' businesses. And so this is just an announcement to say what we already kind of knew was coming down the pike. And I know that there are a lot of people that are panicking about it, but in reality, there are some positives that are going to come out of this. And so rather than play into all of those things that are going to be scary, let's look at three things that I feel are going to be a very positive thing for most of the businesses I support with this change. The first one is that engagement with people is critical to success. We don't sell to we don't sell things to inanimate objects or posts or news feeds for that matter. We sell to people as businesses, and people are the driving force in our businesses. And this algorithm change is going to force you to get personal with your followers. It's going to make you really think about what you put up there as far as content is concerned, because just putting up content isn't going to be good enough anymore. And you're going to have to think of ways to have conversations with your followers and to truly engage with them, and not lose sight of the fact that those people are the people who buy your products and your services. If you can find a way to have those conversations to truly engage people, which is what we always want from a sales perspective, which is why we're on Facebook to begin with, then we're going to see an uptick in how we are making sales, and an uptick in our revenue. So in essence, this engagement, this forcing of having conversations, of really pushing that engagement with our followers and being super mindful about what we put up is going to help us with that. And so I think in the end, the businesses that are truly able to grasp onto this model, figure it out, and come up with creative ways to really engage their following are going to find that they're going to get an upswing in their sales from Facebook. You're going to get out of your Facebook slump. To me, that's something that I've seen a lot of businesses go through. And I know in our personal contract client slate, I have seen a good section of my business owners start to move away from Facebook, because Facebook is not the platform that they can get the most response from. It already was moving into that phase a long time ago. And I see others that keep trying to throw paint at the wall and hope that something sticks, and they've gotten into a slump with that because it just doesn't work. So those aren't our contract clients, by the way. But this is going to get you out of that Facebook slump. This is going to get you to be more mindful about how you use Facebook as a marketing channel, and it's going to ask you to really shift how you think about what you're putting on Facebook. Is it going to be great conversation-worthy content? And in the end, for those of you who especially are producing multiple posts every day, that strategy is not going to work anymore. So it's time to move away from that, and honestly take a breath and say, I don't have to produce as much content for Facebook anymore. I have to produce some really good content. So all those hours that you were putting into putting up multiple posts in a day, now you can shift back a little bit and say, I can put those hours into some really good concentrated content. And that's a change that I see kind of across the board with all social networks, is to have content that is super valuable, very high quality, and you push it out over multiple channels. And Facebook, it may be not the channel that you are going to publish on, because let's face it, the reality is that Facebook never was a very good publishing platform anyway. There was a point in time where you could get a lot of nice mileage for your blog maybe, but that time has since long faded. It was built to be a social channel, and social means interaction. So, but there are some great publishing channels for your blog or your information, but Facebook is the place where you have conversations about that, which is the ultimate goal of blogging anyway, is to get people talking about something. So Facebook is going to be the platform where you can have those conversations, whereas the actual publication probably takes place somewhere else, or if it takes place on Facebook, it's done as a courtesy to those followers that have placed you in their See First rankings. And I'll explain more about what I mean by that on the last slide of our presentation today. And finally, my third positive is that maybe Facebook wasn't your best placement anyway, and this change is finally going to be the thing that is the catalyst that gets you to try some different networks that might be better fits for your marketing. So it's not always the place to make sales. As Facebook knows, Facebook is about friends and family and socializing. And some brands don't fit comfortably into that conversation, but they do fit onto other channels. Beautiful imagery works great on Instagram. Business publishing, that publishing of your blog posts or your articles or your white papers, that may fit better on something like Flipboard or Medium, which is more like an RSS feed. Twitter is getting a revival thanks to a multitude of factors, and the conversation and engagement is also really critical on Twitter. But Twitter is an amazing place to consider now. They're, like I said, they're getting an uptick, and there's a whole new concepts around Twitter that you might want to investigate as a valid marketplace for your brand. LinkedIn is still valid. If you've been neglectful of them, they're a great place to do some publishing announcements. YouTube is and always will be a fantastic place for video content. And although Facebook is inching into that market of video content, I had an interesting thing pointed out to me the other day. YouTube is really good for being a library of content around your brand. So I have videos that I did back in 2009. So they're getting kind of old. They're 9 years old this year. And they are still getting views and hits and watch throughs all the way through on YouTube. And that would just not be possible on Facebook. You just don't interact in the same way on Facebook. Your video is kind of here and gone the next day. Whereas YouTube, it lives on and becomes incredibly relevant, sometimes even more so as time goes by. So for long-term investment with video, YouTube is a much better place for you to place that anyway than Facebook. And I can hear some of you out there saying, well, what about groups? What about groups? Is groups still going to be part of this? Everything, by the way, is part of this new shift with the SmartFeed. So if your group isn't engaging back and forth with each other, that's not going to work. If the posts in the group aren't getting conversation, then they're not going to get seen either. So keep that in mind as well. And yes, all of the people who've told you, yes, video is the way to be on Facebook. Yes, video is important, but just being a video anymore is not going to be good enough to get you seen in the SmartFeed. It's going to have to be a video that sparks conversation. So there's a lot of thoughts around that as well. So a few more things to keep you off the edge with this new update. Facebook as a company is not stupid. We all should be well aware of that by now. Their goal is not to alienate you as a business owner, but to keep everyone running along smoothly and spending as much time as humanly possible on Facebook. So always remember that. They will reward you if you bring people to Facebook, if you get people to stay on Facebook. Trust me, that's all of part of doing it right. Paid ads are still going to be valid and useful. Events are getting new prominence, and I didn't put on here, but live video will continue to get new prominence as well. So all of those are still really valid ways. So if you have a paid ad campaign program on Facebook, or if you're using Facebook to promote your events, again, anything that sparks conversation is going to get a little bit of a bump. So figure out how maybe you could twist that to get a conversation going between followers. Facebook users will still dictate how they want to interact with your brand. and they can do so. They can choose see first under the following tab on your page. Now, there is a limit to the number of see firsts any personal user can have, so you're going to hit that at around 30 pages. So if Facebook is truly where you want to be part of the interaction with your followers, then I would encourage them to do this see first part, where then they see your page or your brand's posts first, and then they'll start to see friends and family. But again, there is a limit to how many every person can have before it starts to get clogged up again. So just because there is a limit to how much can get shoved into a newsfeed, and we have finally reached that as users on Facebook. And lastly, and just this is my thought for you for the rest of the week, if you can't get something out of the 3 positive things that I've already given, just remember this is just another Facebook change. It's not the end of the world. And social media marketing is a work in progress. We are all still in our digital diapers. This is something that we're going to continue to make up as we go along. And this change will be one in a multitude of changes out there that are going to keep happening over time. That's both the fun and the frustration in marketing a small business right now, is that you kind of always have to be on your toes, which is why you subscribe to Make It Happen Monday. So I hope that this has helped you understand a little bit more about what's going to be going on with Facebook, and giving you some thoughts about how you might want to shift your Facebook marketing perspective, or maybe not. Maybe you are kind of right in line with just where you want to be on Facebook and just want to keep on going. Both of those are valid ways to think about it. I appreciate your time today, and I will be back next week with a really smart tip on how to make your marketing better, and we'll see you then. Thank you and have a great week.